Ladies and gentlemen, there is a group which is going to be extinct very soon, and we must all watch very closely and we must record these moments, because this whole group is going into extinction and it knows it. Imagine, ladies and gentlemen, if there were just two dinosaurs left on planet Earth, right? And the two dinosaurs were told, go have your last meal because you're going to be extinct in a couple of days. Imagine the look on those dinosaurs' faces. That is the look that I see today in the faces of many people who are freaking out when they hear the words, rather alphabets, FCRA. Foreign Contribution Regulation Act. Because there are dinosaurs in Delhi and there are dinosaurs around, and these dinosaurs actually these are survivors from the Lutyens era, and they get a lot of money from foreigners, you see. We know the Rajiv Gandhi Foundation got money from the Chinese. Can they deny it? We know that all these people take money from here and there. We know the missionaries of charity have been under a watch. The same missionaries of charity, Marco Rubio flew down specially all the way from Washington to meet and support the missionaries of charity. Ladies and gentlemen, and there are so many groups like the missionaries of charity, and there are so many journalists, and there are so many people who do forced conversion. There are so many fake evangelists. There are so many people whose only agenda in India is to convert. There are so many people in India whose only agenda has been to take money from a foreign source and put it into a Maoist area, so that through a mix of conversion and supporting Maoists, they can make India weak from within. And then weak people like Manmohan Singh would cry and say that Maoism is the greatest internal security problem in the country. He was right, it was. But because he reported to Sonia Gandhi, he could do nothing about it. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you about FCRA, and I hope you circulate this to everybody. FCRA is the Foreign Contribution Regulation Act. Now, there are amendments to this bill being brought in, which are aimed at ensuring that no foreigner or foreign organization or foreign group or a front for a foreign intelligence agency or a front for any foreign state interest or a foreign deep state or anyone is able to put money or send money or repatriate money or use money in India for purposes that are against India's national interest. I think this is the most amazing thing. For example, according to the FCRA rules, journalists, correspondents, cartoonists, editors, owners, or any company in the media space, news media space, is not eligible for foreign contribution. This is so good, it's amazing. Why should journalists want foreign money? They should be banned. Because there's nothing called a free lunch. If you take money from these deep state agents, tomorrow you'll be working for them. There is nothing called a free lunch. If you get money from the Soviets, you will be inclined to the Soviets. Thank God they are not there. But they did do that in the past. If you get money from foreign sources, you will naturally be inclined to align with the interests of foreign countries. History proves it. Foreign funded narratives are a reality in India. And those people who are against India will try to stop India's growth by putting money and giving it to Mir Jafars and cheats and opportunists and Maoists and people who do conversion in India, people who want to spoil the demography of India. Ladies and gentlemen, they'll put that money in and they might put it through politicians, which is why there's another amazing part of this new amendment which says that no political party, no politician in their personal capacity, no political organization can take money. This is core to the FCRA amendments. Isn't this amazing? Now I understand why the Congress party is freaking out. Now I understand why the left is freaking out. They'll have no money left. I don't know. They must tell us how much money they get from foreign sources. Ladies and gentlemen, what is the purpose of this bill? The purpose of this bill is that anyone who is targeting the sovereignty and integrity of India, anyone who's trying to do something which impinges on communal harmony, public order, or national interest, especially in Maoist affected areas, they must be controlled and stopped. How is that controversial? Why are these people freaking out so much? Why are they so concerned about it? Are they against the principles of this law? Most importantly, this law makes it very clear. Organizations must declare the states, exact areas, union territories where they will operate. How is that an issue? Suppose you take money in Delhi, but you route it to Manipur. Suppose you take money in Mumbai, but you route it to Chhattisgarh. Shouldn't the government know where the end use of that money is? But you see, these people are maybe doing some shady work, some sinister work. Maybe they are working for the CIA. Maybe they are working for a foreign intelligence agency. That's why they don't want to declare where they are sending the money to. Maybe they are sending it to a third party. Maybe they are saying they're doing social service but actually converting. So these sinister agendas have to be stopped. Ladies and gentlemen, all foreign cards will stop. Now let me tell you another thing. The biggest reason why the FCRA is worrying so many people is because it says that you cannot proselytize, you cannot convert, you cannot use money, use influence, use incentive of any nature to convert. It does not say that you cannot teach theology, religious history or philosophy, etc., etc. It does not say that. It does not tell you you cannot set up amenities for pilgrims, set up dharamshalas, langars, annadans or community kitchens. It just says you can do what you want. You can carry out religious education, but you cannot proselytize. And if the government gets to know that you're proselytizing, then you will be put in lockup. Who will oppose this? Only those people who want to proselytize. Only those people who want to convert. Only those people who want to exploit the poorest and the weakest sections of Indian society economically and induce them to change their religion. Now, if the government of India says that's wrong, because that is the exploitation of the Indian people, that is the exploitation of the Indian citizen. Nobody sitting in the United States of America or wherever, or the Vatican, or Italy, or Czechoslovakia, or wherever should have the right to do that. What's wrong with that? I support this. Ladies and gentlemen, we know what's been going on in India. Let me tell you, viewers, you must read, you must study how 92 crore rupees was recently tracked. And when it was tracked, it was found out that some 6 crore rupees were being used in 2 specific areas in Bastar. Now, these are places that in the past have been centers of evangelism and proselytization, and also in the past, Maoism. The government has worked so hard to end Maoism. Should we not stop the financial tap that might support it? If the government is working so hard to stop forcible conversion, should we not stop the financial tap that might lead to forcible conversion? But you see, there is a whole damn industry in this country that in the name of secularism is doing these shady things in our country. Which is why FCRA is giving them sleepless nights. It should. Let me share one thing with you, ladies and gentlemen. There is one organization which is based in the United States of America, which is targeting tribal communities in India and giving financial targets and saying, I'll give you money. You put the money to 10 more people, give the money to 10 more people and come back to us with the deliverables of how many people you have converted. Is this a good thing? Is this the commoditization of religion? Political leverage? And if the Modi government is saying these wrong things, the exploitation of the people must stop. If some people are trying to exploit the people of India, using money, forcing them to change their religion, inducing them to change their religion, oppressing them to change their religion, exploiting them to change their religion, then it will not be allowed. And that's why we're bringing about the FCRA regulations. So viewers, all of us must read about the amendments to the FCRA. We must support what the government is doing. We must stop people who want to bring in foreign money and catch the Mir Jafars red-handed, handcuff them and put them in lockup for the rest of their life, ladies and gentlemen, for working against national interests, against the interests of Bharat. These are not individuals, these are termites who want to destroy the country from within. And we know how to deal with them, don't we? Let's debate.